welcome back to Studio 21. I'm your host, Audrey.
And I'm Zane. Today we'll be discussing a threatening challenger to the highest grossing franchise of all time.
In addition, we'll be talking about a couple century-old silent films, so stay tuned for that and more. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Gossip Guru. I'm Audrey.
And I'm Zane. Today we're discussing some older drama surrounding the video game Palworld.
Palworld is a video game with very similar mechanics to Pokemon. A player catches pals using Pal Spheres, then can use those spheres to battle against other pals. For a better chance to catch the pal, the player fights the pal they want until their health is at a low level.
It's literally Pokemon, just in a different font.
Mostly, yeah. The game is open world, which is very popular in games at the moment. It also utilizes lots of shock humor. For instance, players can eat the pals they catch or use something.
Rip-offs of Pokemon games aren't that uncommon, but Palworld created more buzz than most knockoffs because of its willingness to go against Pokemon's child-friendly brand. But there's more to the discussion. The pals are almost blatantly stolen from Pokemon, with many having the same basis.
Not just the same concepts, but almost exactly the same designs. They stole Wooloo, which just made it a little less cute.
Yeah, many just have different colors and, to be super original, steal different aspects of Pokemon characters to create one homunculus of a pal. All the blatant intermixing of designs has caused artificial intelligence rumors to spread.
Especially because the game's studio, Pocket Pair, has previously released a party game where players have a theme, but rather than drawing, they write a sentence that uses AI to generate a piece of art. One person doesn't know the theme, so they just generate something random.
That borders on the game playing itself rather than the players playing the game. But yeah, I don't think it would be too hard for the studio to use some kind of AI to create this. The CEO did throw a specific employee under the bus, saying a graduate student who applied to almost 100 companies made most of the character designs.
I wonder how accurate that is, but most of the game's players, especially by now, know what kind of a game Palworld is and still enjoy it. I think it's a bit like trash TV or movies that are so bad they're good. Anyways, that's all for today. I'm Audrey.
And I'm Zane.
Thanks for tuning in, and please enjoy our music video of the week.
Double G's on my pants on a record. Guinness World Record, yeah, I'm feeling the pressure. Doesn't scare me, never jogging in place. If I got something to say, I'ma say it to your face. Look, I see you pop out at the mall now. I don't really hang around there, it's a small town. People be snitching on themselves like the law now. My twin flame towered over me, we had a fallout. Wiki, 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 wiki. Wiki, 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 we ain't care blickies. Wiki, 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 never too wicked. I'll mess with that, that's a fact. Take your broom with you. Wiki, 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 wiki. Wiki, 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 we ain't care blickies. Wiki, 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 never too wicked. I'll mess with that, that's a fact. Take your broom with you. Take your broom with you. Take your broom with you. Can you take your broom with you? Don't mess with that, that's a fact. Take your broom with you. Checks now, flex now, jewels on my teeth, clamshell. What you mean? I take it out when I eat. Kiss my feet if you wanna stand a chance. I repeat, W without you, I'm the man, don't feel defeat. I don't like mess around, bad news, yeah. I get what I want when I snap my hands. Everybody claiming they have a plan. This is God's world, my plan in His hands, yeah. Wiki, 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 wiki. Wiki, 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 we ain't care blickies. Wiki, 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 never too me son, I'm not your son. Won't show you until it's done, that's how I roll, that's how I run. Girl, see, I ain't no bum, won't call me son, I'm not your son. Won't show you until it's done, that's how I roll, that's how I run. If you had a pocket full of posies, would you fall down?
Hello, so we're going to be talking a little bit about the eclipse and what we thought of it. So, opinions?
I really enjoyed it. I initially wasn't like super excited for it, but my friend dragged me out to see it, and I'm very grateful because it was way cooler than I was anticipating it being. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. How about you?
Yeah, I was going to do that whole Trinity thing where you get on the buses and you go out to the ranch, and I missed my alarm. So I called my dad, and we ended up going to the airport, which was in the Path of Totality, and we ended up watching it there, the call lot. It was very fun.
That's pretty cool. I drove myself because I don't trust other people to drive me around, and if I'm going to be late to something, it's going to be of my own volition. But
Fair.
yeah, I drove to Fredericksburg,
Nice,
which should have been like a 2-hour round trip, ended up being like 5 hours because of traffic, but you know, it's fine. I just listened to music and ignored my friend the whole time, so it worked out, you know, pretty well for the both of us.
Yeah. That's totally fair, yeah.
Yeah, I just hung out in a park pretty much the whole time, and yeah, it was super cool.
Mm-hmm. One of my friends was gonna go to Kerrville originally, but because that's where her family is, and we did not end up doing that because she spent all weekend there, came back, and was like, I'm not driving back there right now.
Yeah, it seemed like traffic was a lot worse going up there, so I'm glad I avoided it. Once I actually like headed off the highway to head Fredericksburg, things got a lot smoother for me, so I'm glad I didn't go further north, or else I might not have gotten there in time.
Dang, that's fair.
Yeah, but it was super cool. Like, I didn't expect things to get like as dark as they did as quickly as it did. It was like every 30 minutes of like a sunset was happening like every minute. It was crazy. Like,
Yeah, it got a lot cooler too. I think it dropped like 10 degrees.
yeah, I kind of wished I'd brought a jacket because I'm a generally cold person, but you know, it was super cool. I got to see like the actual like totality for like a couple seconds through the clouds, which was nice before they disappeared forever. But you know, like 2 or 3 seconds worth of it, you know, was well worth the trip, I thought. Plus I got to see like it actually eclipsing it a fair number of times before the clouds came in. So I definitely got everything I needed out of it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, where I was, the clouds were over it, so I couldn't see. And it was a little sad, I'm not gonna lie, but we got through it.
I managed to snag like one decent picture of the totality, which was nice. It's the one thing I'll cling to prove that I actually went out there and saw it. So
Yeah.
it's all I've got to
44
clutch
years-
on to.
44 years later, we'll see it again, but be like 60 then. Anyway, so that's all about the eclipse for this week, and now we'll be going to our local San Antonio finds.
Hello, I am here with Chef Elizabeth Johnson. She's health conscious and she employs a natural philosophy that food is medicine, serving up a primarily plant-based menu at Farm Table in Southtown, San Antonio. Her menu is inspired by a fusion of the East, West, and Mesoamerican diets, along with San Antonio heritage foods and using local seasonal produce. And now on to some questions. Okay, so you were voted best patio for brunch, which we are sitting out at the patio right now. What are some of the most popular brunch dishes on your menu?
We have some very popular brunch dishes. Our sweet potato waffles, which are gluten-free and dairy-free, are something that we can't take off the menu. People riot in the streets. When there was a point where I tried to take them off the menu, bad idea.
Unacceptable.
So unacceptable. So we sweet potatoes are actually an ingredient here in San Antonio and in the Texas region that are in season almost all year long. People don't think about it, about tubers and root vegetables, but specifically sweet potatoes, which are actually part of the morning glory family, and things like beets and radishes grow really well here in San Antonio and the surrounding areas. So you're going to see sweet potatoes on our menu almost all year long.
Cool. Can you please explain the Mediterranean inspiration behind a lot of your dishes? And is this because the Mediterranean diet often uses fresh and sustainable ingredients that are plant forward?
So The Mediterranean diet is definitely an inspiration for Farm Table by way of the Blue Zones. So if you have or have not heard of the Blue Zones, it was a really seminal piece of research that was done by National Geographic, where they went around the world and they studied, areas where people statistically live to be 100 years old,
older.
but thriving.
Okay.
Okay,
wow.
so it doesn't. So this is where people are living into their 90s and beyond, and they are active and they are healthy and they do not need medication, and they are not riddled with a lot of the issues that we see here in our U.S. Diet and population. And so that piece of research is really based on the Mediterranean diet. And the Mediterranean diet, for all practical purposes, means lots of plants, legumes, whole grains, and people being naturally active, really. Small amounts of red wine and, very healthful oils like olive oil.
I did not know all of that. Thank you. Okay. And which menu item is your favorite?
Oh my gosh. People ask me that all the time. That's what, it's like asking somebody, which is your favorite child?
Yes.
So it's very hard for me to answer that question. But it really depends on the time of day.
Okay.
And it depends on the mood that I'm in.
Okay, right this second. What is the favorite
Right
thing?
this
If you could
second,
have
it's going to be
anything.
the Spice Route beets.
Okay, that was one of the things I looked
Yeah.
at, and I was like,
Yeah.
I love beets. That seems very interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Is it spicy or?
Not really. There's a little bit of spice from the Urfa chili,
Okay.
which is actually a Berber chili.
Okay.
We get all of our spices from a company that is a single origin spice company. And so what that means is that our dollars that we use to purchase our spices
Okay.
are supporting families.
That's
Like
awesome.
often like really small communities that are trying to keep traditions alive. In the, for instance, we have Palestinian za'atar.
So the za'atar, you also have a fish taco. Am I right saying
Yes, yes. So
that? Is
we
that
have
the same ingredient?
It is.
Okay.
It is. So our salmon is going to be. We found that there's this crazy synergy between the beautiful fats in salmon
Okay.
and the za'atar.
Oh,
Because of the sesame seed and the
Okay.
sumac, and then the flowering hyssop, which is actually a wild thyme.
And last question. Where do you see the future of your restaurant going? Do you like where you are? You want to expand, or anything like,
Well, it is incredibly all-consuming
Okay.
to have just this one restaurant. But my dream would be for there to be farm tables in other parts of the United States,
Okay.
and even in other parts of Texas.
Okay.
And our customers tell us this all the time. So we hear it on a daily basis
Yeah.
that they really like the unique combination
Okay.
of foods and cooking techniques, and of course the mission
I've never heard anything
to
like it.
heal people with food and to heal the planet. And so I'm hoping that we can access
Yeah.
more markets.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Release Date. I'm Zane Clow.
And I'm Audrey Post.
Since I didn't have a chance to catch any new releases, which I'll make up for with 2 next week, I thought it'd be fun to talk about 2 exceptionally old movies. First up, Sherlock Jr.
Sherlock Jr. was originally released in 1924 and is directed by and stars Buster Keaton. It follows a film projectionist who, upon falling asleep at his post, dreams of being a detective who is framed for stealing from his girlfriend's father and must prove he is innocent and bring the culprit to justice.
Right off the bat, this is an extremely old silent film, which is probably a pretty big obstacle for most people to enjoy this. This is, however, one of the greatest technical marvels I've ever seen put to film. Buster Keaton, with the stunts he was able to achieve, is simply incredible. The things he does in this film is legitimately astounding, especially since he actually had to do all of those stunts since VFX didn't exist. This movie is also hilarious, sincerely one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Not only can I not remember a movie in recent memory I've laughed this hard at, it is achieved solely through physical comedy and situational irony. Given that there's no verbal jokes, of course since it's a silent film, that is a monumental achievement. The cinematography is also staggering for a movie of its age. The complex shots and camera movements that are achieved are nothing short of incredible, and this film looks better than most modern movies I've seen. And while anyone who knows me knows that long run times don't bother me at all, this movie clocks in at a very short and sweet 45 minutes, just barely making it feature length. The This is a perfect runtime though, not short enough to make me feel I'd been cheated a full experience, but not long enough to overstay its welcome. I could just keep gushing about this movie, and I highly recommend you watch it. Next up, another ancient silent film, Battleship Potemkin.
Battleship Potemkin, originally released in 1925, was directed by Sergei Einstein, who is known as the father of montage, a film theory on the importance of editing. The film is a Soviet propaganda film that presents a fictionalized and dramatized version of the mutiny of the Potemkin in 1905 during the First Russian Revolution.
Once again, for a silent film that's almost 100 years old, this is a staggering achievement. The editing in this movie is incredible, with each cut feeling so deliberate and intentional that it generates more meaning than most movies are able to through editing. The film's narrative escalation is also masterfully done, with a small conflict over rotten rations on the ship to outright revolution throughout the nation. This film's buildup of the unfolding conflict is gradual when it needs to be, but can also take drastic forward shifts when necessary too. There's also a lot more dark and violent moments in this film than I was anticipating. The police massacre a protest and a child is trampled to death, all things that I was not expecting, but all things that add to the tone of the film. Once again, this film is beautifully shot, with small intimate moments not losing their effect compared to the massive and grandiose scenes that have battleships fighting and hundreds of people in a crowd. The best piece of praise I can give this movie is that if I were a Soviet peasant when this film was released, the propaganda would have totally worked on me. Once again, this is a monumental film achievement, and I highly recommend it. That's all we have for release date. I'm Zane.
And I'm Audrey. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and thanks for watching.